title should have been there, but because I'm not going to go there a day before and read and make a nice title, we'll see if it lines up. Anyway, let us chant our Mangala Charana that we what? Yeah, but people like clickbait and stuff like that. So you can share this one, by the way. Let's do a Mangala Charana. All our obeisances to spiritual wisdom guides or teachers who opened our eyes and taken us away from a lifetime of darkness.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sahajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Ti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shanyavari Paschatade Shatarine. Further our study here. This verse, the last verse we read was about the favor of the goddess of fortune. It is now ascertained that he, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited, and there is none equal to him. Consequently, no one can speak of him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune, even by prayers. And this very goddess renders service unto the Lord, though he is unwilling to have such service. So the goddess of fortune, known as Lakshmi, she is responsible for bestowing wealth and opulence in this world. And everybody is trying to get wealth and opulence in this world. All the great demigods. Everyone wants her favor. But that very goddess, who is very difficult to give any favor, and practically nobody can actually obtain her favor fully, she renders service unto the Supreme Lord. And only there is where she's willing to give herself in full. But in order to access the Lord, He only accessed by bhakti, by pure devotion and love. Meaning you have to get rid of every type of fault. It's interesting, all of the anarthas, the main cause of anarthas is actually the desire for wealth. Believe it or not, the main cause of the anarthas, all of the obstacles to Krishna. But the ironic thing is that if you can give up all desire for wealth and purely only want to love and serve God, then all wealth is yours. Then she's ready to serve you at any moment. But if you at all are approaching God to approach her, then she'll not give. So like this. Sampa, you'll join? We only have 20 minutes. It's a short one today. And trust me, you'll be actually glad if you... we're talking about the same subject matter we talked about last time you were here, about how we do so many things to try and obtain the fortune of wealth, the goddess of fortune, but nobody, not even the great demigods, can obtain her favor. But the Lord, she's ready to serve the Lord unmotivatingly. And if we put aside our ambitions to try and attain her, good fortune and wealth and all these things, then actually we can get her. That's the paradox. But if we, run out the door and chase her and we'd want to neglect the Lord, then we will not get. Never. Impossible. Because she does not serve. She's not interested in bestowing that blessing. So you have to actually, it's hard, it's a paradox, because the more you desire her, the less chance you have to get her. And then the more you desire the Lord, and that you don't even care for her at all, then the more she's ready to serve you. Isn't that interesting? So it's very, I've seen personally in my life, I've desired to increase my wealth this year. And before I didn't really care much for wealth. What I was doing, I was like, all right, I don't have any good opportunities for wealth. So then this year I saw that there might be some opportunities for wealth. And all I did was lose wealth this year in my pursuit of wealth. And so I'm learning, I should not put so much emphasis on pursuing wealth, because when I do that, I lose actually the wealth, I lose the opportunity. But actually, throughout the years here, how anything came, even any wealth came to me so that I can utilize, was the times where we just wanted to do a service to Krishna and the devotees, then all opportunities came, no difficulty. As soon as I take a pause from that, okay, I have extra time, let me pursue wealth, then she ran away from me. And now I'm still experiencing, wow, she's running away. So this is very, very applicable, because this is what everyone's chasing in this world. This is why you guys are running out the door in the morning. This is why everyone is doing everything, is because you're pursuing her, but you don't know the trick to get her. You have to please her. How do you please her? You serve her master. You serve who she's interested in serving, and then by association she will automatically give. But if you at all want to pursue her, then she will not come to you. That's the paradox. You pursue her, you pursue wealth, you will not get wealth. You pursue Krishna without any tinge of wanting wealth, then all wealth is yours. That's the famous last verse of the Bhagavad Gita. I wish I remember the Sanskrit. But wherever there's Krishna, there's always victory, opulence, all of the things that people want. Wherever there's Krishna, that's automatically there. But when we pursue those things individually, we do not get. It's very difficult. Or maybe we get a little taste and then that's it. It'll go away. It's like watering the leaf of a tree. You want to take care of the one leaf on the tree, just water the root. Everything will be nourished. You want to take care of every aspect of your life, you serve God, everything will be nourished. But the problem is, we want to individually, very foolishly, want to water each individual leaf. I'll take care of this leaf like this, my finances over here, my relationships over here, my this thing over here, that thing over here, and then every 1 second we're over here working on this, and then this falls apart behind us, and we run and try and fix everything, because we don't know the system, we're not very intelligent. Just like your body, I want to build up my muscles. Let's see, you want to build up your muscles. Okay, so what will I do? I will take the food and I'll smear it into my biceps so that I have bigger biceps. Was that a very intelligent workout plan? No. You put the food in the stomach, and the stomach will nourish everything. So similarly, this is the situation here. We're trying to actually intelligently go. Devotees are not foolish and sentimentalists. Devotees are not those who waste their time and they just want to do all of the devotional activities and they get behind on everything else in life, And then the smart people are the people who go out and work all day. That's not actually what it is. The people who go out and work all day, they're actually behind. I've seen it in my life. My example in my life, my family members have been working for many, many years. Many of my friends have been working for many, many years. And still, I'm working every day. And they might not have a house. They might not have all these things. But somehow or other, I stopped working for many, many years. Like 5 years ago, stopped working. And I decided, well, still doing work, but the work was, all right, we have to do some service to the Lord, a service to the devotees, things like that. All those things came, even before the people who were working, who are adamantly working for these things. Many people, they also get these things, but a very unique situation will come to the devotee. So, but that's because the goddess of fortune is always ready to serve the devotee. But the paradox is the devotee is not interested in the goddess of fortune. If the devotee becomes interested in the goddess of fortune, she will detect the fraud and she will not come to you. So isn't this the great paradox? If you want wealth, you will not get. But if you want to serve God and don't care for wealth, then all wealth is yours. Isn't that the paradox? It's quite an interesting thing. So that's being mentioned in the previous verse, and now we're going to hear more about the Lord, and hopefully this will entice us to want to hear more about the Lord, because it's in our best interest in every way. Even if we're a completely materialistic fool, the best thing we should do is approach the Lord, because if we approach the Lord, then he's got all opulence is there, and we want all the goddess of fortune, she's there. So if we pursue her, the intelligent know, I will not get her. I've seen this year already. Take some time off from pursuing, okay, now I've got to maintain my son and my family, so let me pursue some wealth endeavors. And then just all I've seen is loss this year, I've personally seen. But if I smarten up a little bit and I go back to, okay, let's not focus on that at all anymore. And let's just focus on the expansion of Krishna consciousness in my life and the lives of others. And then I'm sure it'll just come back like it always does. So this is, this is very important to know. So let's read here. Athapi yat padanakava shrishtam Jagad virincho paritar hanambaha Seshang punatyan yatamo mukunda Konamaloke bhagavat padarthaha Atha, therefore, api, certainly, yat, whose, padanaka, nails of the feet, avashrishtam, emanating, jagat, the whole universe, virincha, brahmaji, upahrita, collected, arhana, worship, ambha, water, sa, along with, isham, Lord Shiva, punati, purifies, anyatamaha, who else, mukunda, besides the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, kaha, who, nama, name, loke, within the world, Bhagavat, Supreme Lord, pada, position, arthaha, worth. So, who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord but the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This very water, the Ganges, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva. So this is, the Vaman pastime, when Vaman expanded and then he stepped into the upper universe and his toe pierced the firmament, the universal shell, because the universes are said to be like eggs, and they all have like a shell of material elements. And then Vaman said to pierce that, and the pure waters from the spiritual realm above that, in which all the universes are said to be floating. I know that's pretty far out stuff here, but we can't really perceive it. We can't say, yes, that's definitely true, or it's definitely not true. We're so infinitesimally small, we cannot measure on that conception. But that purified water is said to come down. And Brahma, he collected that water in his kamandalu to give blessings, and then Lord Shiva took that water on his head and actually allowed for the Ganges to flow into this world, because the Ganga is said to be the emanation of this spiritual water, or the descension of this spiritual water. So that's why they all, even we, before we do worship and prayers and apply tilak, we chant Ganga cha Yamuna chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sandogavare Jalismin. We're calling upon the sacred waters, which are actually said to be descending from the spiritual world, which are what makes them so amazing is they were touched by the nails of the feet of the Lord. On my birthday, actually. It's my Vedic birthday is the appearance of Vamandev, where he performed this festivity. So that's, this is my birthday pastime. And also, the reason he's talking about this is because many people worship Brahma, many people worship Shiva, especially worship Shiva. Even some of the greatest scientists in the world, many materialist people, Shiva is the most attractive because Shiva, he is the most easily pleased. He's called Ashutosh. And even if you, even if it's like Krishna, if you ask him for something, he won't give because he knows what's good for you and what's not good for you. And he won't give you something that's not good for you. But Shiva, because he's dealing with those in the modes of ignorance more, he's easily pleased but also easily angered. If you approach him, whatever you want, either it's good or bad, he'll give it to you, no problem. But it's that's why you see it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, the worshippers of Lord Shiva, they have so much opulence, but Lord Shiva himself, he's a mendicant. He doesn't have any opulence. He meditates. And then Lord Vishnu, who has all opulence, he's like totally opulent in Vaikuntha, but his worshippers are all like impoverished, and why? Because they don't want anything. It's the great paradox. But why? But Lord Shiva himself, he's taking. They're all taking the blessings of the Lord. Even you might have heard of this CERN, CERN. You know this? Yeah, they're the ones who do the Large Hadron Collider. This top level science thing. It's seen there. They have a giant statue of Lord Shiva. If you look at the Judeo-Christian paradigm, they put a character as Satan and all these things, and but if you actually observe, and a lot of the Zionist Jews or who worship the Talmud and other things, they actually they worship Satan, and you don't know because actually Satan is said to be the god. A lot of the God things that God has done in the Old Testament that seems like pretty. The reason it seems like a little bit of a discrepancy from the God that Jesus is describing is because they're actually two different personalities, and one is acting as Lord Shiva by the Vedic paradigm, and one is acting as Lord Vishnu. Now Jesus is the devotee of Vishnu, whereas a lot of the, you could say, the Jewish sects, they were more, not all, but a lot of the ones, especially the ones ruling now, they're devotees of Lord Shiva. That's why they have all opulence in this world, and they run all the financial systems and all these things. So anyhow, Lord Shiva, though, he's not a bad. Even Satan, the character of the Bible, even though he always is very wrathful and it seems he does always very bad things, he's also an expansion of the Lord. And if you know what, it's even described in the Bible that he was an angel. He was in the kingdom of heaven, and then he descended to this world. They have all kinds of reasons why and who this personality is. But anyhow, let's see what Prabhupada says. The conception of many gods in the Vedic literatures by the ignorant is completely wrong. The Lord is one without a second, but he expands himself in many ways, and this is confirmed in the Vedas. Such expansions of the Lord are limitless, but some of them are the living entities. The living entities are not as powerful as the Lord's plenary expansions, and therefore there are two different types of expansions. Lord Brahma is generally one of the living entities, and Lord Shiva is the via medium between the Lord and the living entities. In other words, even demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, who are the chief amongst all demigods, are never equal to or greater than Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and all-powerful demigods like Brahma and Shiva are engaged in the worship of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Therefore, who can be more powerful than Mukunda, Lord Krishna, to be factually called the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The goddess of fortune, Lakshmiji, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva are not independently powerful. They are powerful as expansions of the Supreme Lord, and all of them are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and so also are the living entities. This is why, this is like the kind of the paradox in the Judeo-Christian religions. There's God on one side, and he's battling the great evil Satan. But how did the great evil Satan get all his power? Also by God. God has given. So he has a purpose. He has a service, actually. Similarly, what we understand as Satan, it's a dual, it's a dual couple, and it's Shiva and Parvati together, and they're meant to act together to create the symptoms. And she's even maybe more powerful in bringing us an illusion or maya, or tempting us to futile things in this world. But they have a purpose. They're actually great servants of the Lord. They're not these evil characters. And even though demonic people tend to worship them, like the great leaders of the world and great opulent people of the world, who aren't interested in serving the Lord, they're really only interested in wealth and making their way deeper in materialism. Even though they worship them, and they have themselves bad qualities, the personalities they worship actually, if they worship them, and there's a really nice pastime where you've heard of this pastime where the person who was looking for the greatest wealth approached Lord Shiva, and he told them where to go. You've heard this? And he goes to Sanatana Goswami. It's a very nice pastime. Let's finish this, and maybe if there's time, I'll tell the pastime before you guys go. But I know you guys have to go within 10-15 minutes. So, okay. There are 4 sects of worshipful devotees of the Lord, and the chief amongst them are the Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Sri Sampradaya, descending directly from Lord Brahma. Lord Shiva, did we read this last time? Yeah, Lord Shiva and the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, respectively. Besides the above-mentioned 3 sampradayas, there's the Kumara Sampradaya, descending from Sanat Kumar. All the 4 original sampradayas are still scrupulously engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord up to date, and they all declare that Lord Krishna Mukunda is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no other personality is equal to him or greater than him. So actually, if you look at the Vaishnava Sampradayas, who worships the Lord in this world, and everyone, this is part of the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Our head of our Sampradaya is Brahma. Brahma, we're in the Brahma, Gaudiya Madhava Brahma Sampradaya. But there's the Rudra Sampradaya, who's headed by Lord Shiva. There's the Sri Sampradaya, headed by Lakshmi, and the Kumara Sampradaya, who's headed by the 4 sons of Brahma, the 4 Kumaras. But all of them, even though incredibly powerful personalities, they worship the Lord. And even though sometimes people worship them, like everyone's worshipping Lakshmi in this world. Money is the god of this world. Everyone is trying to chase money. Money's the honey in this world everyone's chasing. But they don't know that, she's worshipping the Lord. And if they were intelligent, they would worship the Lord, because that's in her interest, and she's always ready to serve that person. But because we don't understand, we're blinded by our lust and our desire, she, maybe get us a little taste of what we're, at some point. But we're working so hard. But what can be achieved, what you have to work so hard to achieve for the devotee of Narayan, is very easily obtained. I've seen personally in my life, I don't know how the heck we have a house. People work so much of their life to obtain a house, But by good fortune, by service of the Lord, and what would have been ordinarily impossible. I'm a college dropout with no job. Would have been impossible to achieve. Krishna made it very achievable, and made it, and it was crazy. All the circumstances, Most of the money that I had and invested that bought this house, it came from a free gift from the government during the COVID time. That was how it came. Only Krishna could have arranged such a scenario, a world scenario where that was, and only Krishna could have given me the intelligence to, put the money in this and it'll grow, and it did, So anyhow, this is the benediction of worshiping the Lord. So Krishna wanted us to revisit that verse. It's a very good verse. So now let's read one more verse. Do you want me to tell this pastime about how you obtain the greatest wealth? Yeah, you're interested? Okay. So there was a Brahmin and his wife, and they were worshipping Lord Shiva. But because they were Brahmins, they didn't have much wealth, and then it became more and more difficult to do their duties. But the man is usually able to be poor a little easier than the lady in a relationship. A man, he can tolerate so many difficulties. Ladies tend to get more and more uncomfortable the more poverty strikes in. It's hard for them to, really be settled and peaceful. So she was not peaceful, and she, she was encouraging her husband, please worship Lord Shiva. We need more wealth. We have nothing. I can't even do my basic services. And it's true, woman. The word for woman means stri, and stri, the Sanskrit root, it means to expand. So wherever there is a woman, there is expansion. So that's also another secret. I didn't really come across any wealth in my life until I married my wife. And then by nature, just because she's there and her desire to expand naturally is there, then all of a sudden things that never would have come to me started coming to me. To us, actually. But anyhow, so she really wanted him to get more wealth. So she had him worship Lord Shiva with like really intense vigor and fervor. I'm going to do. And then actually Lord Shiva appeared to him, and he's like, "Oh, my Lord." He has his tiger skin on, and he's looking amazingly beautiful. And he's like, "Oh, my Lord, please, I've come to worship you because I want the greatest wealth." And he said, "The greatest wealth, huh? Okay. For that you have to go to Vrindavan." And so he's like, "Well, where do I go in Vrindavan?" He's like, "There's a sage there named Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami has the greatest wealth." And so Lord Shiva, and then he blessed him. You will attain the greatest wealth. Don't worry. Go to Vrindavan and find Sanatana Goswami." And he disappeared. So he says, "Okay." And so he tells his wife, and his wife is very excited. And they think the greatest wealth is what's called I think Chintamani. And Chintamani is a stone, the mystical stone, where if you touch it to any element, that element turns to gold. And so it gives great wealth. So he's thinking in his mind, Sanatana Goswami must have the Chintamani. Sanatana Goswami must have it. So he goes to Vrindavan, and he eventually finds Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami, he says, "Oh, how may I help you?" And he's like, "I've heard that you have Chintamani, a great wealth here." And he's like, "Oh, Chintamani stone. Yes, we don't use that very often. If you go outside in the rubbish pile, it should be there. I know we had a Chintamani stone, but it's out in the rubbish. It's in the trash outside." So the Brahmin, he scours through the trash, and he finds the Chintamani, and he touches it to something, and it turns to gold. And he's like, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing." And so he thanks Sanatana Goswami, and he says, "Thank you so much for giving this. I'll be on my way now." It's not Goswami, sorry. Yes, go ahead. And so the Brahmin is walking back, but he starts thinking about the interaction. He said, "I was with that Sanatana Goswami, but he didn't really care at all for the Chintamani stone, and he kept it in the trash outside. Why would he do that?" And then he thought about Lord Shiva's words that he'll give me the greatest wealth, but maybe this isn't the greatest wealth. Maybe he has something else. He must have something else. Why would he keep this in the trash? He didn't care about this at all. So he went back, because he's a little greedy now. He's like, "Well, I don't want to get cheated out of the greatest wealth. I want to get the greatest wealth." So he goes back to Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami said, "I know you have greater wealth than this, and I don't want to take this if it's not the greatest wealth." And Sanatana Goswami says, "Yes, I do have the greatest wealth. But if you want me to give it to you, then you must take that and throw that in the Yamuna River." So now he's, the touchstone, the Chintamani, it can turn anything to gold. I can choose this, or I can get the greatest wealth. What do? You chase, anyone who's, you chase you go for the gold, not the gold in this hand. You go for the highest thing, okay. So he took it and he threw it in the Yamuna. He said, if this is turning gold, who knows what type of wealth is coming. But it's interesting. Do you know what he told him the greatest wealth was? Actually, he said the greatest wealth is the name of God. And by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, by approaching and feelingly connecting with God through calling His name and actually associating with Him through His name, it's as simple as that. You have all of the power of God at the tip of your tongue. The greatest wealth is actually already there. It's for everybody, so easily obtained. But because of our greed for lower wealth, we fight so hard chasing Lakshmi's benedictions in this world. But she's fully present in that name. Anything that you need will be there. There'll be no shortage. I've seen also, my wife's always marveling. We have this Abhiram. And Abhiram has his own karma and his own needs and his own things, right? So it's interesting when you have a child, you start to see things come based on the karma of the child now. What me and my wife weren't eligible to have in our lives, as soon as Abhiram came into the picture, things started moving and changing. And so, but we were noticing how anything the baby needs, it just comes. It's just it's crazy. We don't tell anyone anything. We don't ask for anything for the baby. But people just seeing that we have the baby or relatives or this and that, they're always I don't know, Krishna from within, he's inspiring them. Get this for Abhiram, get that for Abhiram. And next thing, Abhiram's whole arsenal of things. We didn't ask for any of it. I mean, some things for the baby shower were there, but most things that are coming on a regular basis, it's just inspired through my mother-in-law, or this relative, or that relative, or her friend, or this, and anything he needs just comes to him. But this is actually, this is one side effect. A side effect. It's not the main reason you're chanting the holy name, but it's a side effect that Bhava Mahada Vagni Nirvapanam, all inauspicious things, all miseries will go away. And Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitadanam, all good fortune will just arise. Everything that's needed to perform one's duties nicely will come. And so this is actually one of the side effects, just a side effect of the great bliss, the greatest wealth that can be achieved in one who approaches the Lord. So this is actually what we've shared today, this past time. You actually have the greatest wealth already at your fingertips. You've been bestowed the greatest wealth. Even though we go out all day and chase lower wealth, we actually don't need to. We have to chase this wealth. And if we do chase this wealth, then in the doing our duties, everything that's needed will come. Everything. But if we don't chase this highest wealth, then we'll fight very difficult, hard, and then we'll actually get a lower thing that the great sages throw in the trash. All the gold in the world is useless, actually. It's actually useless when it comes. Who is that at the door? These are the things that are very important. I think we'll end here today. Sampath, thank you for joining, and I hope you get the greatest wealth in the world. And don't worry, the other things that you need. Don't be in a fearful situation. We tend to be in. The devotee has the quality of Abhayam. It means he's not fearful. Why is he not fearful? Because he has full faith in the Lord. And he's understanding the Lord and never... Go ahead, you can come in, no problem. Yeah, do your thing, brother. We're all just coexisting. You got to do your thing and we got to do our thing. No, you're cool. So, the devotee has nothing to fear. No one really has anything to fear because everyone's connected to Krishna as Krishna's servant. Most just don't know it yet. But if you do know it, and you stay connected to Krishna in this way, He'll bless you. And if you give time to Him, I promise you that time will never go wasted. But as I've seen, if you give time to material things, many times the time goes wasted and you don't get the result you're looking for. And I've seen already this year. I took a break. I said, you know what, I have some extra time. Let me pursue this. I have a child now. I have to provide a little bit more wealth for the child and things like this. And then all I saw was loss. And I said, oh, what a waste of my time. I would have been better off not doing any of these endeavors at all. I would have been better off not doing any of these endeavors. But because ultimately my priorities weren't always situated properly, and I had to learn that, what the meaning of Sarva Dharma and Parityaja, abandon all Dharma and just surrender unto me, what that actually means, I'm still learning. So anyway, I hope you guys can learn this too. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. So may you all get the greatest wealth. I don't think you're not ending it, because I'll end it on here, but we're going to do bhajans. You guys can head out. Please there's so much prasadam. Please pack copious amounts of prasadam. Eat everything in there. So